Everybody, it is great to be here one more time today. And my name is Gary Fowler, and I am the CEO, president, and founder of GSD Get You Done Venture Studios. We are a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in the heart of Silicon Valley. We believe that intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world, but opportunities are not. So today I have an incredible guest. So Marcus is a serial entrepreneur. He's got an amazing background. He is the director of Image Machine. He's got everything from being a commando with the Singapore Armed Force, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today, to being a serial entrepreneur. So we want to talk about that, and with that, I'd like to bring him on board. So Marcus, how you doing today?
Yeah, doing great, Gary. Thanks for your introduction. I think it's really well done.
So, one of the things you said is, you help AI users unlock their full potential for providing the image data for the computer vision applications. So tell us a little bit about that. And let's talk about, but first, how in the world did you become a commando in the Singapore Armed Forces?
Okay, let me address the questions in chronological order.
Yeah.
So I was a commando in armed forces because in Singapore, conscription is mandatory for everybody. So they make all of us go through a medical assessment, and during the medical assessment, one of the things they do is also IQ test. So what I'm told is that you need to be in the top 10%, something like that, before you are given an interview and an assessment for the commandos. So they'll get everyone onto the commando camp, and then they make us do all sorts of personality quizzes, more IQ tests, and a physical fitness test to determine whether you're suitable to be a commando. And then if you pass all of them, they interview you on the spot. And for me, I think during my interview, what sealed the deal was the interviewer asked me, how do you handle stress?
Yeah.
So I told him that I usually try not to focus on the problem, but I think of the solution instead. And if the problem has no solution, then I just don't think about it. Yeah.
That's a good. So if it doesn't have a solution, you just don't think about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, if the problem has no solution, what's the point of worrying? Yeah.
And so you did that for what? Almost 2 years, right?
Yeah. For us, it's 1 year, 10 months. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was quite an interesting experience. If I could turn back time, I would choose the same path again, because it taught me a lot of important life lessons. And I got quite a few good buddies from there too. Yeah.
Now, would you do it again?
Yeah, I would definitely do it again. Yeah.
Now, in fact, working out for 2 years, was it like a big workout? Was it?
Yeah, it was definitely a big workout. There were many times where my physical limits was pushed to levels I didn't know was possible. But I'm very grateful for the experience, because it's really taught me a lot of valuable life lessons. Like one of the things even until today, that I think there are two main lessons that I really take home. The first was that, don't pity yourself. Yeah, because it's very easy to pity yourself. You think like, oh, I'm miserable, I'm in a very terrible state, I feel sorry for yourself. But this is very unhealthy mindset. It doesn't get you anywhere. Yeah. And then the second one was that the only easy day was yesterday. Yeah. And that, you got to think that you are more capable than what you are currently facing, and that things are just going to get tougher, but you will get tougher as well.
That's great. And so you kept a positive attitude, and you learned a lot. So it was interesting, right?
Yeah, exactly. I would definitely do it again, and I would definitely not repeat some of the mistakes I made. Yeah, but I would love to have done it again.
Marcus, what mistakes did you make?
Okay, so I think one mistake I made was that I didn't care more about my buddies. Yeah, because I'm one of the physically fitter people there. So sometimes, because I can handle more, I don't spare a thought for others. So, for example, when I lead them in a navigation exercise, sometimes I walk too fast. Yeah, and people don't really want to shout at you to slow down. Sometimes they can't also. Yeah, and sometimes during when we like attack a building, if I'm the front guy, I tend to move a bit too fast. Yeah, because I'm not putting more of a thought for my partners, and that was a lesson which was drilled into me,
Mhm.
scolded for it, and I had to learn the hard way that you really have to put in more effort to look out for your peers.
And now, did
That was something
you
I
get
definitely learned,
promoted?
and I wouldn't want to
Did
repeat.
were you an officer or were you an enlisted person?
I was conscripted. I wasn't but I wasn't an officer. I was like a normal like soldier. Yeah, a corporal. Yeah, I think the US uses the same ranks. Yeah.
No, that's interesting. Well, sometimes people do get promoted. They come in as enlisted and they have a college education. Sometimes they get to do officer candidate school. So you did that. You spent a couple years doing that, and then you became. How in the world you became a certified fitness trainer?
Oh, okay. So after near the end of the commando training, uh, there was this uh, there was this agency that was looking to hire people to be fitness trainers. So they needed people who were obviously fit. So the commandos was an easy place to look for such people. You can't be a fitness trainer if you can't walk the talk. Yeah. So so I joined them, and I led other recruits in the army to do fitness exercises, taught them about the fundamentals, made a couple of friends along the way. Yeah.
Interesting. And then you went to Nanyang Technological University. Where's that?
So it's based in Singapore. It's in the western side of Singapore.
Hmm.
Yeah. Although I think for you Americans, it doesn't make much of a difference because we're even smaller than New York City. Yeah.
Wow.
But
You did Nanyang and you studied Bachelor of Engineering. And, how did that, after you were in the Singapore Armed Forces, how was that? I mean, going back to college after being in the armed forces.
I think one good thing about going back to college is that at least mistakes aren't life and death. Yeah. And that the worst thing that can happen to you is that you fail a test, fail an exam, maybe even repeat the semester. But in the armed forces, if you make certain mistakes, people have actually died from those mistakes. Yeah, they were always telling us that safety rules are written in blood. Yeah, so I think it was a lot less stressful that way, although it's a kind of different type of stress. But I think it was definitely a more refreshing experience for me because I'm definitely more academic than on the military side. Even back in the armed forces, I would actually bring my books to the jungle.
You
Yeah,
brought your books to the jungle?
yeah. I even brought like textbooks were some of my textbooks were in electronic format. Yeah,
Huh.
I printed them out so that I could read them in the army camp and in the jungle because we couldn't use electronic devices.
Oh,
So
wow.
I actually
How
printed like
was it
1,000 pages.
after? Were you reading and people, guns were going off? Were you just,
No, I mean sometimes in the training there's like down times, there's like rest times.
hmm.
Yeah, so during like rest times, while people are just talking, resting, doing nothing, staring at the trees, I'll be reading my textbooks, and that was something I really enjoyed. Really because I really did enjoy what I was studying. Yeah.
And what were you reading at that time?
Math, physics, and programming books. Yeah.
So you were like relaxing, reading math, physics, and programming books while you were in the
Yeah.
commandos.
Because even as a kid, I've always had a strong interest in robotics. That's why I signed up for engineering, and the engineering I did specialized in robotics. That was my childhood passion. Yeah.
So you went to, so then you were an industrial attachment while you were in university for the Singapore Institute of Manufacturing, and you did a adaptive robotic gripper capable of industrial automation. Now, how did that come about? I mean, did you just like one day wake up and said, "Oh, I read this in the books and I'm going to build it"?
Oh well. To be very honest, I didn't really have a choice on what I had to build during my intern. Yeah, it was more of a we have this hardware, make it work.
Make it
Yeah,
work, yeah.
yeah.
And did you like it?
Yeah, I definitely liked it. I definitely enjoyed the area of robotics, and having an intern really solidified that I really do enjoy engineering. Yeah, and it's definitely my lifelong passion.
So you went from that. So you did that, the Singapore Institute of Technology. You went forward and you became a robotic software engineer. What's as a system manager at IMDA? What does that mean?
Okay, so IMDA is a government statutory board.
Hmm.
So we partnered with a lot of smaller companies to launch certain products because being in the government, we have the connections and we have the funding. Yeah, so we provided both to small companies and we helped out with technology aspects. So one of the things I did was I helped out to make a computer vision model and distribute it to different robotic vendors.
And how was that?
Well, it was great. We helped them secure some pilots because being from the government, it was easier for us to approach different ministries rather than they do it. So I think everybody was quite happy. We got a lot done, and I definitely enjoyed the experience of being a robotics engineer.
So you did, what is it? One of the things it says that you implemented a fleet management system for mobile robots. What is a fleet management system for mobile robots? What is it like? You got a lot of robots together in a fleet, or what is that?
Yeah, so basically, if you have multiple robots, unlike
Mhm.
humans, they can't really like communicate and do sign language, So you need some sort of higher intelligence to manage these robots. I'll think of these robots like ants, and then this fleet manager is like the hive mind. So the hive mind decides like, okay, this robot needs to go here, and then if there's an intersection, or if maybe there's a one-way alley. Yeah, it will tell like a certain robot, okay, wait for the other robot to finish passing. Because without a fleet manager, if there's certain intersections, they're just gonna collide. They wouldn't know what to do.
So when you do that, what's going to happen though, Marcus? Once we use unsupervised AI and these technologies start to really think on their own, right? So what happens? You got a fleet that thinks, and they start to talk to one another. How's that going to be?
Well, I think it does. You need AI for these things because in a complex environment, there's going to be unlimited possibilities, and especially given the fact that you need to make a system that works for any number of robots. A system that only works for two robots, what's the point?
Right.
So having an AI that dictates, okay, you should go to this path, that robot goes to that path, and decides which robot does what jobs. It's really a more efficient way of doing things. Because I give you an example. If a robot is at the north side of the building and the task is at the south side, there should be some sort of fleet manager that allocates the task to robot on the south side, since the task is at the south. It doesn't make sense to ask the robot to go from the north to south and then go somewhere else. It's not an efficient use of resources. That's the whole point of fleet manager.
That's interesting. I mean, I can't imagine that for like the army. You talk about the commandos. Imagine a fleet of army robots, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. What is that realistic? Do you think
yeah.
that's
It's definitely realistic. Yeah, because one technology that the army is exploring, but still in the science fiction space, is killer drones. In fact, actually, I think it's not science fiction anymore. I think the US has used that already. Yeah, but the point is that if you can have drones that can move independently, the resources are lower and the risk is lower also. Yeah, especially these drones. One very useful application is reconnaissance. Yeah, in the army, we had to do a lot of reconnaissance to get a human to move to the enemy terrain. It's very resource intensive.
Mhm.
However, you get a little small drone move there. They don't need food, they don't need water, and they're a lot smaller. They can fly in
Yeah.
the sky. Yeah, they can hide much better than human.
Well, I think what's happening over in Ukraine right now really exemplifies that, right? This is the time where drones and AI and those technologies are coming to bear. We need to figure out how to use it for the goodness of humanity and not for the bad stuff, but it's coming to bear, and it's amazing what's happening. And what about these things? I've heard about swarms of drones, right? Is that true, realistic, where you have multiple drones flying together and then breaking off and thinking between themselves and how to do things? Is that realistic?
Yeah, it's definitely realistic. Have you seen like those light animations with the drones? Like in the drones form, like for example the word Gary in the sky, and then
Oh,
you,
I've
you, you
seen
type
that.
out,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you type out what word, any word you want, they form that word. Yeah, the technology is already there. It's just quite scary to think what happens if you apply it in a war scenario.
Well, that's
Yeah,
it. I mean, they start saying "Hasta la vista, baby." You got a problem,
yeah, yeah.
right? You know, that's amazing, actually. So you did that. You used lidar systems. Where is lidar today? Is lidar? We talk about self-driving autonomous vehicles. Is that realistic today? I mean, because you hear now about Tesla cars having crashes and those kind of things. How far is it from the point of we have truly autonomous vehicles that can drive themselves and take us places to where we are today? What do you think?
I think we are definitely only maybe like a couple of years away. Although that has been said since like 2010, but I really do feel that we are a lot closer than back then. It's just that in fact actually I think that now self-driving cars are very good for like 99.9% of scenarios.
Hmm.
Yeah. Maybe in some aspects self-driving cars are even more reliable than people. But there is that initial barrier to adoption. People don't feel very comfortable about cars being fully automated. But in many cases, actually, self-driving cars are very good as long as you don't try to confuse them. There was an interesting video I saw where I think it was a Tesla. It was identifying that there was a traffic light ahead, and the traffic light was constantly moving. So it turns out that actually the traffic light was mounted on a truck. Yeah, it was transporting a bunch of traffic lights, and the Tesla kept thinking that there was a traffic light in front. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Or you go down through and I saw one video where a guy got in the back of his Tesla and sat in the back seat going down the highway. Stuff like that. I mean, I don't know if you can do it today, but at the time you could do it. And it was kind of funny watching it. But I mean, that would spook me to death. Sitting in the back of a car, I'm not saying there's going to be a problem, but just in case. But I think those have been solved now that you have to have your hands on the wheel, right? It has to sense that you're there. It's not like before where you could jump in the back seat and, some teenagers could take their friends for a ride and let the car drive, right? It's interesting. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so tell us a little bit about, let's fast forward to 2021. Let's talk about Image Machine and how you came up on the idea. What kind of things are you working on today? What kind of customers are you looking at? And where are you?
Sure, sure. Okay, so as I was telling you, I was a robotics engineer. So one of the things I faced was the collection of data. It was a highly manual process, and you know, almost every company was doing it manually. They would hire interns to take photographs and then annotate the images. So I felt that there was a better way of doing this. We can't be gathering data and annotating it manually all the time. So I started my company trying to solve this problem. That's why we call ourselves Image Machine. We wanted to automate the generation of images for companies. So we worked with some computer vision companies, and then we realized that why stop at just generating data? Why not do one of our own computer vision applications? But for a while, we weren't really too sure on what application to pick, because if you think about it, all sorts of computer vision applications have already been done. Yeah,
Mhm.
whatever idea you can think of, there's already a company out there. It's only whether you know about it. So we decided to, instead of picking something that somebody already has years of experience or more than us, we decided to pick something that's totally new, the metaverse. So we decided to expand to the metaverse by using our computer vision technology to be able to recreate people as realistic avatars of themselves. Yeah. So right now, where we are still developing the first prototype. We have released a video, and it's gotten a very good response.
Mhm.
Yeah. A concept video of how our product will eventually look like. And right now, our initial customers, we plan it to be other entrepreneurs and gamers. So another reason, other than the technology that we have, another reason why I want to pursue a metaverse was that the pandemic taught me that we all crave human connection. It's something which video calls don't capture very well, and that after the pandemic, everybody was excited to meet each other in person again. So, but of course, video calls are still great. It's a convenient way of meeting people across distances. So I was thinking, the metaverse would be a great way to combine the benefits of both worlds. We can meet people as if they were in front of us, but yet have that convenience of meeting them anywhere we want.
And so you're making real life. What's a realistic avatar? What does it mean? Does it look?
Well, we are hoping it looks like almost as good as the actual person, and not like a cartoon from the 90s or low standard graphics. Yeah, we want it to really capture the how the person looks like, in real time.
So I mean, you look at it, gaming situations, and you said entrepreneurs, but which kind of entrepreneurs? Where do you see the market? Where is it? Like who would be a particular customer? Let's forget about gamers, but who else?
I think entrepreneurs who want to sell a product and need to do product demos will definitely be very keen on exploring this, because in the video call, it's quite difficult for me to show you a product. Whereas if you and I met in the metaverse, I could show you the product and you could interact with it, and you could understand how it feels, how it looks, and you can get a better sensing of what it looks like. Yeah. And I wouldn't really call them customers, I'll call them users. We don't actually plan to charge people to be in our metaverse. We plan to offer them like options to create their own apps or to host pay-to-view activities in metaverse. So if you are like an entertainer or a performer, you can host a show in the metaverse, and then you will get a revenue from your tickets.
So how are you getting revenue? Talk about that again. You said with the tickets, but where's the revenue? If it's not in building the avatars, because I think that's really cool, right? But how would you do it? So give me a couple of different scenarios.
Okay, so the first way will be the entertainer scenario. So imagine if you are a celebrity and you want to put up a show on the metaverse where people can meet and greet you. Yeah, you can charge them maybe like $100 per ticket, and then my company would maybe take like $10 from that ticket, for example. So if you sell like 10 tickets, we'll take the 10% of all the revenue, for example. Okay, that's one way. Yeah, another way would definitely be in the advertising space, because you will be able to do a lot of advertising that 2D screens can't really capture. So if you want to advertise in our metaverse, you have to pay us a fee. Yeah, those are the two main ways that we plan to capture our revenue.
Got it. So, and if you want to advertise, you're going to get revenue from that. Where are you? How far are you away from revenue right now?
So right now, actually, we plan to get revenue in the next few months, not through the metaverse, but through existing technology that already exists. Because for us, we feel that the metaverse is definitely still quite far away, and everybody right now every metaverse company now is frankly afraid. Everyone's afraid of launching something that is so computationally expensive, and then but doesn't make them a lot of money. So right now, actually, as I was telling you about the videos that we have very good signups, and out of these signups, I plan to ask some of them to join into my Discord channel that I'll create for this, and if you think about it, the metaverse is merely a scalable way to connect people. You don't actually need the metaverse to start connecting people. So if we can build a community based on the signups and then increase the community from there, we can actually start to see whether our idea of a metaverse can actually connect people together.
No, that sounds great. Listen, we're coming to the top of the hour. So closing thoughts, and how do people get a hold of you, Marcus? And what are you looking for?
Well, I'm definitely looking for people to join my community, and definitely partners to help build this metaverse together. Yeah.
And how do they get a hold of you?
Well, you can contact me via LinkedIn, or my contact is on my company's website. Yeah.
So you want to go out to Image Machine, check it out, imagemachine.org. A great place. Closing thoughts. I mean, what do you think is going to happen with Image Machine over the next year?
Well, I think over the next year we'll have quite a good community. People will be our Metaverse day one users, and I hope to use this community to test out our technology, get feedback, and iterate along the way.
Excellent. Excellent. So I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join my show today. It's great. And to all my audience out there, thanks for joining one more time. GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. And my name is Gary Fowler, and I am your host. Stay tuned. We will have another exciting edition coming soon. Stay happy, stay safe, and more importantly, stay healthy. I'll be back to you soon. Thank you very much, and take care of yourself. Thanks, Marcus.